Hello students. So today we'll be studying about the structure of the nucleus. As you can see, I have drawn the structure of the nucleus. We have to understand first what is a nucleus, right? A nucleus is a dense protoplasmic body. It is a protoplasmic body. What do we understand by protoplasm? Protoplasm is nothing but the living part of the cell, right? Living component of the cell. So it is the nucleus which is the living component of the cell, and it is dense protoplasmic body. And this structure is also the structure which contains hereditary information, right, which can transfer from one generation to another generation or to the next generation, right? If you see the structure is circular, right? Because I have drawn it as a two-dimensional structure, but this is actually a three-dimensional structure. So imagine the structure of a football, like, or any ball. So that is how a nucleus looks like. And here, so we come to a conclusion that the structure of nucleus is not circular, it is oval or spherical, right? Now, in case of animal cell, generally the nucleus is seen almost towards a central position. But in case of a plant cell, as we know that a plant cell has a large vacuole, that's why the nucleus is located towards the periphery, right? Because of the presence of the large vacuole in plant cell, the nucleus is somewhat shifted towards the periphery. Periphery means towards the boundary, right? Now, this nucleus can be stained with certain staining agent, right? Like safranin, like iodine, methylene blue, right? Now we will be talking about all these portions individually, right? If we see the topmost nuclear membrane, right? This is a double membrane covering, and this membrane actually separates the nuclear material from the cytoplasm. If we see the structure of any generalized cell, we will be able to understand that beyond, outside the nucleus, it is the cytoplasmic portion, right? And this nuclear membrane separates the nucleus or the nuclear material from that of the cytoplasm, right? And they are perforated by structures which are known as nuclear pore, right? And it is seen that sometimes this nuclear membrane is like continuous or connected with endoplasmic reticulum, which may also bear ribosomes. And we have already seen that the structure of endoplasmic reticulum, if it is connected with ribosome, such type of endoplasmic reticulum are known as rough endoplasmic reticulum. Now we will talk about the structure of nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm is actually alike of that of cytoplasm. Nucleoplasm, the plasm which is present within the nucleus, right? It is colorless, it is a sap-like structure, and here the chromosomes as well as the nucleolus. We'll talk about the nucleolus also. So the chromatin material as well as the nucleolus are suspended within this nucleoplasm, right? Now, if we talk about the chromatin material, chromatin material is actually the thread-like structure made up of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. I repeat, deoxyribonucleic acid made up of DNA as well as protein. We will talk about the chromatin material in the next figure, but we will here still focus on the nucleus portion. If we clear out the portion of nucleolus, it is almost a rounded structure, right? And it is seen that it is rich in RNA, it is also rich in protein. And this nucleolus actually is the site of ribosome formation. So ribosome gets formed out of nucleolus, right? And you know that ribosome is also known as the protein factory of a cell. Now, coming to the part of the chromatin material, right? So, chromatin material, like I said, that it is the thread-like structure, and this thread-like structure during cell division takes the shape of a chromosome. This is the structure of a chromosome, right? So, chromosome is nothing but the condensed chromatin material, and this shape takes place during the shape of this chromosome from chromatin material takes place during cell division, right? And if you see, there are two similar thread-like structure which are called as chromatids, and they are connected at the central region like a knot, which is called as centromere, right? Now, this chromosome is actually made up of a thread-like structure, which is the DNA. If you like magnify this little portion as I have encircled it, you will understand that I have entirely magnified the vision. I will talk about it. So, what we are seeing here is the condensed structure of chromatin material, right? This condensed structure is actually formed out of DNA material and protein, right? So, if we just magnify this little region, encircled region, we will be able to understand that it is highly condensed, highly coiled, super coiled thread like structure along with some protein like molecules. We will not be elaborative about this particular structure, but just will give you an overview, right? So here if you see this structure, you will be able to understand that it is a highly condensed spirally, right, spirally condensed structure which I have shown it as opened up, right? Here you can see one single thread with protein molecules, right? We are not going in an elaborative discussion about the structure, but to some extent an idea to understand what is chromosome. So you can see as this red line I have differentiated with black with red so that you can understand the diagram nicely. So you can see that this structure is the thread like structure. These are the proteins, and this thread like structure is that of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and this structure is a helical double stranded. You can see two strands are present here, right? Two strands. So DNA is actually a double helical strand, double, two strand, and as they are twisted with one another, that is why termed as helical, right? So DNA is helical structure and it is double stranded, right? Now if we talk about this DNA is actually part of chromosome, and this segment of DNA functions as gene. There are segments within this DNA structure which acts or functions as gene, right? Now we already know, we have come across this term gene. What is it? A gene is actually the functional unit of DNA, right? And that gene carries hereditary information from one generation to the next generation, right? Next, we come to chromosome number. So, if we talk about chromosome number within any organism, it is seen that if we just talk about human, the total number of chromosome present in human is what? 46. So, chromosome number in case of humans is 46, right? And that number is actually diploid. Why? Because let's say 46, right? So we can like denote that it can be 23 pairs. 46 means 23 pairs, right? Now this 23 pair, as they are present in pairs, two set, that is why it is termed as diploid, right? So chromosome number in human is 46, and that means 23 pairs are present. So this 23 pair set, if two set of chromosome, right, are present in an organism, if it is present in one particular cell, that cell is called as a diploid cell. Diploid cell, which is 2n. So here n is 23, right? The single pair is 23. So 23, if we multiply it by 2, that becomes 46, right? So diploid means two set of chromosome. So here 23 pairs are present, so that makes it 46, right? Now, so this is the part of the nucleus, and organisms can be divided according to their nuclear material also. So organisms according to nuclear material can be categorized as prokaryotes as well as eukaryotes. If we talk about the term itself, prokaryote, pro means primitive and karyot comes from the word karyon or karyot, which is nucleus. So prokaryote, primitive nucleus, right? And on the other hand, eukaryote, EU, U means true, true karyot, true nucleus, primitive nucleus, true nucleus, right? Now, in case of a prokaryotic organism, right, it is seen that there is no nuclear envelope, like no nuclear membrane, then the genetic material is completely free, lies free in the cytoplasm, and that is why such type of nuclear material or genetic material is called as nucleoid, right? But in case of eukaryotic organisms, we have already seen the structure of the nucleus. It is a complete one, right? And comprised, you may say it that a complete nucleus is present, a true nucleus is present, but in case of prokaryote, it is nucleoid, right? So in case of nucleoid, it is present in prokaryote, and in case of eukaryote, there is a complete nucleus which is seen, right? And we can also discuss with various examples, prokaryotic examples we can relate as bacterias, right? All the unicellular, most of the unicellular organisms, cyanobacterias, they are categorized under prokaryotes. And if we talk of eukaryotes, we can give the example of plants, various animals, right? Fungi, then protista, all can be included under eukaryote, right? And it is prokaryotes which are very small in size, but eukaryotes, they are larger in size. Well organized nucleus and not so well organized nucleus, and the genetic material is called as nucleoid, right? So with this we come to the end of the discussion of nucleus. Thank you.